The Big J Show, and joining us on the phone is Greg Louganis, a multiple Olympic gold medalist. Greg, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. We were just talking off the air a little bit. You're up and at 'em, getting ready to head to the gym. You're an Olympic. I said you're an Olympic medalist. You have to still work out and stuff and stay in shape.
Yeah, I mean, people kind of expect it, but I mean, it's also like therapy for me.
I see. It kind of calms you down and.
Yeah, with the stresses and everything. It's just like, I mean, it's something that I know I'm familiar with and I'm comfortable at, and it's a great way to just kind of chill.
I like it. It sounds good. It doesn't. That's not how it works for me. But if it works for you like that,
for you it's stress, right?
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's like, oh man. Well, let's talk about why you're coming to Billings. You're coming to Billings tomorrow for the Yellowstone AIDS Project's annual benefit out at the Wingate Convention Center. And tell us a little bit about your backstory there. You're living with AIDS or HIV and have been. Just tell people the backstory if they're not familiar with your story.
Well, I was diagnosed HIV positive, 22 years ago now, and before the 1988 Olympic Games, and they put me on AZT. I mean, I went through so many different drug regimens, and 22 years later, I mean, people are forgetting that. What we went through in the 80s, funeral after funeral, and, it was just, HIV/AIDS was right at the forefront. And now, I mean, so many years later, there are some long-term survivors. There have been, great breakthroughs in treatment. But, I mean, one thing that I want to try and get through, especially to young people, is that I wouldn't wish my drug regimen on anyone. The things that, because the drug regimen can be pretty harsh. It's not a lot of fun. So, there is a consequence to reckless behavior. I mean, prevention is so key, and that you don't have to, go through this. And also a lot of people don't tolerate the medications well. I mean, that's what happened early on in the, with so many deaths that were happening. A lot of people just didn't tolerate the medications well. So, here I am 22 years later. It's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, people think, it's great, he's still around, and I'm doing well.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, it's a mixed message to young people, that, HIV/AIDS is manageable. And it really isn't.
I want to know, you keep talking about we're talking to, excuse me, Greg Louganis here, and you're talking about the drug regimen. What's that like? Like, we hear about that a lot, especially with Magic Johnson. Everybody's like, oh, he's got these crazy drug cocktails, and essentially he doesn't even have HIV anymore. I mean, and I know he does, but people think he's pretty much cured, and you just keep hearing about those drug regimens, and you said it's hard. What is it? I mean, what do you do on a daily basis to manage it?
Even though somebody is undetectable, and now they have an even more sensitive test that you'll find that there's still the virus there. As far as the drug regimen, I'm very fortunate that they've combined a lot of the medications, so you only take one pill. They've combined some of the medications into one pill. So, I take my meds in the morning and the evening, and that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, there was a period of time where back when I first was diagnosed, I was put on AZT right away, and I was 2 pills every 4 hours, 24 hours a day, So every 4 hours, an alarm went off, and I had to take my two pills of AZT. So you're constantly reminded of your compromised immune system. Also, AZT was a pretty harsh drug. There have been other, when the protease inhibitors came on board, those are brutal. I mean, they're just brutal. I mean, Mary Fisher, who's also another, long-term survivor of HIV, was frustrated and stopped taking her medications, and I started taking my medications too because I got tired of having to be near a bathroom all the time.
Yeah,
and a lot of the side effects of the of the medication of the protease inhibitors was extreme, explosive diarrhea and just energy just saps you. So I mean, it was just brutal.
It's not fun. That's the message you're trying to get out there, is that it's not something that you can live with it these days. You're still saying it's still horrible and do anything you can to avoid it.
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, and because it really inhibits what it affects your day. It does, So,
what did it? Speaking of affecting your day, how did it affect your life back then? I mean, when you were in the Olympics, there was in that '88 games that you cut your head open. They had to stitch you up. You did. That's kind of a big story thing. But you had HIV back when it was still kind of taboo. People didn't know what it was. I mean, did you get? Was there hatred for you? I mean, was there a lot of anger like that?
Well, I was in a country that I would not have been. I wouldn't. Had they known my HIV status, I would not have been able to compete because they would not have let me into the country in Seoul, Korea. Because I was trying to get my buddy Ryan White, who contracted HIV through his clotting factor. He's a hemophiliac, and I was trying to get him into share my Olympic experience with him, and they wouldn't allow him into the country because of his HIV status.
Wow.
So I was in a country that would, that had they known my HIV status, I wouldn't have been able to go.
That's so crazy to me. What a crazy thing. I've got two more lighthearted questions here before we let you go. Again, Greg Louganis coming to town tomorrow for the Yellowstone AIDS Project's annual benefit. But the '96 movie, the Showtime movie with Mario Lopez, what did you think of that? I want to know. I thought it was good. I liked the movie, but I wanted to know, is it weird to see Mario Lopez playing you, and what did you think of the movie?
Oh, I told him. I gave him so much grief. I said, you know what, I should look so good. but at least I did do the diving, so
that looked good.
That was authentic.
Good. And then also, your big thing these days, you're competing in dog agility competitions.
I do dog agility.
I want to know some of your dogs' names. I've heard you have funny dog names for your dogs.
Oh, you know what? I have a whole Harry Potter theme going. I've got Gryffindor, who's named after Godric Gryffindor, and that's my Border Collie. And I have Dobby, who's my Jack Russell Terrier after the house elf. And then I've got a Hungarian Pumi named Hedwig, and she's white, and named after the Harry Potter's owl.
I like it.
Yeah, so I have a whole Harry Potter theme. Now I have one more, Nipper. She's the old gal, but she wasn't supposed to be my dog. Somebody else named her, and I was training her for a friend, and it just didn't work out. So she doesn't kind of fit the mold. But and also the other thing I'm up to too is I'm coaching now. I'm coaching diving.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I've got a young team, SoCal divers. Here in Southern California, and actually I'm kind of bummed because they're doing a zero trash pickup in Laguna as a team, because our team motto is to make the world a better place. So they're out and doing their thing, but I'm going to be up in Montana doing my thing, and so they understand.
Good. That's nice. They'll pick up
Greg
trash.
Isn't going to be there.
Yeah, and you'll be racing to where it is tomorrow night. Yellowstone AIDS Project's annual benefit at the Wingate Convention Center. For more info or tickets, you can call 245-2029 and see Greg Louganis speak live. Greg, I'm glad to hear you're doing so well. It was nice talking to you, and have a good time in the snow when you get here tomorrow.
Great talking with you. You take care. See you tomorrow.
See you, Greg. Bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.